by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. And as we prayerfully and with purpose and hopefully as you position in our conversation today, we invite you to be a part of a discussion and start things off with our friends from the Counseling Center as we invite you to be a part of it. 1 o'clock for half an hour, so open line, 1:30, Crisis Center, and there are good folks who will join us. And then we're going to cap it off with some service from the good clubs from the Alliance. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And from the Counseling Center, one of the clinical supervisors, Mr. Jason Dunkley, and his colleague, one of their therapists, Mr. Shane Lopez. Now, sometimes when we look at health, we're probably quick to think of financial well-being than mental and even sometimes physical, believing that with the finance we can buy all the other stuff. But I wonder, increasingly, if we're cognizant of how important it is that thing that we see as health, the spiritual, the mental, the physical, the financial, and all the other stuff, that's not just one thing in a vacuum. It's a composite of much that brings not just fulfillment, which is key, but a sense of purpose and living in our life. Mr. Jason, I don't know, the pensive thoughts of a man ruminating late at night as his book falls close to the floor in his eyes. You never know what you think about when you're reading, right? Until you wake up in cognizance and realize, So, through you and your wonderful colleague, help us to understand this notion of, mental health, but also mental health in the workplace, a place that we spend an inordinate amount of time. I want you to guide me. I promised a friend earlier that I would say this because I've said it, and I have some mindset that I want us to appreciate how important is education. And when our parents tell us the school days are your best days, they weren't only saying that because of long breaks, but the time that they see, at least from my expectation, and sort of you're learning something that's going to contribute. And I tell people now as adults, you as a worker, an employee, you're on a prisoner work release program. You're contracted to come at a certain time, stay for a certain time, only move within a certain time for lunch, leave by a certain time and return. Now, is that a harsh statement? And I'll come back to that in a minute. Why? Because if how you position something in your mind, it could affect how you do it, how it affects other people. Mm-hmm. Bit of a curve, Mr. Jason?
Yeah, I expect nothing less.
I'll pay attention.
Just to go back to where you started there, I like the point you were making around how we think about health.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important in terms of mental health that a phrase we use at the Counseling Centre is holistic health, and trying to kind of move away from separating physical health and mental health and seeing it all as you said, we're a combination of everything, right? We're physical, mental, spiritual. and all the other facets of our lives. And a huge part of our lives in terms of balance is work. And as you said, as you just kind of alluded to there, we're contracted to spend, if we're lucky enough to be working full time, the majority of our time in the workplace. You know, until I win the lottery or become a well-kept married man. That's where I'm going to be.
So that's the thing. All right. Let's hope for us after all.
Right. So in terms of that, the theme for this year's World Mental Health Day is prioritising mental health in the workplace, bearing in mind that we spend so much time there. How we manage our mental health while we're at work has a huge effect on how well we're able to enjoy our lives in general.
And how that affects not just when we go home, the family and friends, but our colleagues, our customers, all the other stuff.
Everybody, yeah, it's a huge knock-on effect.
Ms. Lopez, welcome. How are you?
I am good. So thank you for having us here. I just wanted to add to the conversation, you know, in terms of when we talk about mental health in the workplace, really and truly we want our employees, we want each other to be able to feel comfortable within the workspace because, like you said, we do spend a lot of time there. And so once we are in a good state, we're able to also offer good services, right? And that's what we want. We want that the people that experience us on a regular basis actually get good services. And for us to get good services and give good services, we also have to be in a place where we feel comfortable enough. So when we talk about being at work within a certain time frame, it doesn't have to feel constrained. You can actually feel like, you know, we get up and we're excited or looking forward to go to work. We're looking forward to interact with our colleagues. We're looking forward to give the services that we offer so that they feel welcome as well. So it's a very holistic approach.
Well, as we go into the break, when we come back, maybe pick up on that as well, because I was thinking from that perspective of, you know, hey, if you look at your work like this, what's that saying? You know, find something you like to do, you never go to work a day. And oftentimes how that impacts us, if we are conscious of, you know, enjoying our work, it's fulfilling. Not only will the customer and the clients and, you know, the work gets done better, but you sort of come away with a joy so that you walking through the day and you got a skip in your step and the like. But if you're just doing it because it needs to be done, you know, almost on autopilot, yeah, you're an effective employee, you're checking the boxes, but is it fulfilling? So is there such a thing, as we come out from the break, as an appreciative of you sharing some of the notes with us, this work-life balance, or should it be a life-work balance? Does it matter which one comes first? Different things. Can we talk about it?
Absolutely.
All right. Stay tuned. We invite you to join us right after the break.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
The DVDL Customer Support Unit is now open. Customers can book appointments for written and driving tests through DVDL's hotline at 945-8344. That's 945-8344.
The Ministry of Tourism and Ports has launched the Visitors Experience Development Grant Program. This program is specifically for Caymanians looking to provide a new product or service to visitors of these here Cayman Islands. Successful applicants may receive up to 50,000 CI dollars in funding to be used for business-related expenditures. To find out more information and to apply, be sure to visit www.ourcayman.ky/VEDGP.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And from the Counseling Center, we have two fantastic, team members, Mr. Jason Dunkley and his colleague, Mr. Shane Lopez. And you were sharing with us, we're talking about Mental Health Day, and you said that the notion of how we look at the workplace, prioritizing mental health in the workplace as part of this theme. Work-life balance, life-work balance.
Right.
Yeah. What is it? Is it the same? Is it really possible?
Yeah. I think it's important that we really have a good understanding about what we mean when we say work-life balance, because a lot of the time it's easy to kind of think about it in terms of, okay, well, I need to make sure that I balance the time I spend at work with the time I spend at home. Again, if we are lucky enough to be working full time, that actually not going to work out, because if you take out the time when you're asleep, you're actually at work most of the time.
Yeah.
So that's never going to be balanced. That's never going to be even. So in terms of balance, what we actually do want to think about is, okay, well, when I'm at work, do I feel safe? Do I feel validated? Equally, when I'm at home, do I feel safe and do I feel validated? That's where we want the balance to be. So when we talk about work-life balance, it's about a feeling of safety. So I want to feel equally as safe and secure at work as I do at home. And a lot of the time when there are stresses that are detrimental to our mental health, that's where we struggle to feel that safety. And that's where the balance dips. And that's where you might find that some people, find it easy to stay at home and it's harder to get them into work because the balance is out of whack. And sometimes it's even the other way around. You find some people that are at work all the time because that's where they feel safer and secure, and it's not balanced because they don't have that at home.
They go to work to escape,
right?
In a sense.
Yeah.
Mr. Lopez, you wish to jump in?
No, I agree with what Jason said in terms of what is work-life balance. Oftentimes people think it's a 50-50 type of thing. Not realistic. What we want is your well-being at work to feel good and your well-being at home. And so how do you make the place that you spend most of your time feel comfortable for you to be able to function? And when you're able to feel safe, when you're able to feel as if, I could contribute to the wider society, to whatever the goal is of your institution, that you feel productive. By doing that also, when you get home, the energy is also different. So when you get home, you don't feel depleted. You feel that because you've been a part of your organization, you could go home and still contribute at home in a different way. You feel relaxed at home. You could engage with your family. You do not disconnect. So a lot of time, because we feel, or we may not feel that we're just doing either a work that feels like we're no longer present. So by the time we get home, because we spend so much effort to try to be present, even though mentally we don't want to be there, we get home feeling exhausted. And so we cannot be fully part of our family. We cannot have social engagement afterwards, because then it does feel like it's more exhausting. Right? And so we want work to feel good so that when we get home, we could still be a part of the other communities that we are part of. So we want to be well-rounded in terms of how do we manage our energy as well.
That balance and that thing that we're trying to extract from our inputs and the like. What's the formula? Is it dependent on us internally, or is it the spouse, the children, the colleagues, the customers? Are they external factors?
I think one of the things that we can look for in terms of the workplace is how much autonomy we are given in the day, or how much autonomy we give others in the day. Because a lot of the time when it comes to feeling stress at work or poor mental health at work, a lot of the time it's due to lack of control. And anyone who's been micromanaged can attest to that, I'm sure. So what we find is the more control and autonomy you have in your workday, the more of a positive impact that's actually going to have on your mental health.
I want to ask, but we do also have a caller, I'm told, join us. So I use the headsets to keep my hair in place. Mr. Shane, but if you want to put them on, let's take this call. Clinical Supervisor Jason Dunkley at the Counseling Center and his colleague, one of the therapists, Mr. Shane Lopez, are our guests. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling. Yeah, hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Not good as you, sir. There's hanging in there.
Oh, well, don't let go. Sometimes the ground won't miss, but the landing might be pleasant.
Can't let go. Just like to ask you, sir. We have some Filipino rent across from our house. And every morning...
Okay, can I don't hang up. I would encourage you, because we're going to have open line at 1 o'clock, call then, so that I don't take away from what you want to say, but also interrupt it with the conversation as we talking, about World Mental Health Day and the theme, prioritizing mental health in the workplace. Jason and Mr. Shane for sharing with us that balance. There was a guy who once said, if you do a lot between 5 and 8, you don't have to do much between 8 and 5. But I didn't ask him, is that AM or PM that you're talking about, right? Because as much as we joke and jest, if we can come away from the workplace, don't take your work home, and don't take you home to work. We've heard those things, but is that even possible?
Yeah, good question. I think a lot of it has to do with the mood you choose when you walk through the door at work and the mood you choose when you walk through the front door at home.
Okay.
We can do a lot around what we decide to notice and how we decide to turn up in each moment. So one of the things we talk about in our presentations that we're taking around at the moment is how easy it is to notice the negative things in the workplace and how we can become quite fixated on those. We can actually train ourselves to notice the positives, and it feels a little less natural because we're kind of, as human beings, we're programmed to look out for threats and look out for things that are uncomfortable. So we have to really kind of convince ourselves to look out for, okay, well, each time Mr. Dwayne says good morning or makes me laugh, I'm going to notice that.
So consciously looking to be positive.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And also making that conscious decision to kind of decompress. So for me, one of the things I consciously do is, I take the opportunity of that drive home, from Georgetown to West Bay, to remind myself that, okay, well, I finish work now, and now I'm a dad. And it's kind of, regardless of what's happened in the day, it's walking through the door as a dad.
I want to ask about that, but Mr. Shane, was there something, join us if you want to share on one of those points.
Sure. Earlier you mentioned two things. You talk about whether it's at home, work, your family is responsible. And I think it's multifaceted. Like we started off the conversation when we begin in terms of what is health and mental health is. There are different aspects of it. And I do feel that organization as well as the person involved has a role to play. We can't just wait for the organization to do something, and the organization can't just say that it's an individual person. It has to go together. Because one influences the other, and it's like the egg or the chicken type of scenario, right? We really need both. In terms of your second question that you had asked, in terms of separating family and work, and we've always heard that growing up, right? You leave your problems outside at the door and you come in and just do your work, but that allows us to come to work fragmented because we leave parts of ourselves, and it's creating that balance in terms of the same skills that you utilize at work, you want to be able to learn to utilize at home, and vice versa, because some of the skills that works for you at home could benefit you in the workplace in terms of when you're talking to your family members, you're a lot more gentle. When the things that you do at home could help you at work when it's in difficult situations, and vice versa. But
Right.
if we leave part of ourselves at the door, then we're not working at 100%.
Yeah.
We're working at only whatever percentage we
Yeah.
say, well, it's not related to work. But when we started off, we did talk about how work influences home and home influences work. So it's not about leaving one part of yourself, but it's also in terms of recognizing what is it that you need to resolve. So we are not only looking at the problem, but we want to look at problem solving strategies now in terms of what is it that is happening that is telling me in terms of do I need to work towards. And so when we're thinking about when you walk through the door, and you're saying maybe your morning started off not really good, but how do you transition in terms of when you walk in is how are you going to take care of yourself? What is it that you need now? Do you need to sit at your desk for a while, take a deep breath, you know, process whatever feelings that you're recognizing, taking time to be mindful and be present in terms of where am I right now? How can I meet what is it that my body's telling me that I need? So if I was frustrated and I just need a time for myself, then I could take that time for myself without feeling guilty that I'm taking that time for myself. So we want to be able to meet our need without dismissing it so that we could be present at work. And when we get home, it's that same thing that Jason was talking about, is when he's leaving work and heading home, he's decompressing in the vehicle while he's driving before he's transitioning to full just dad at that particular time. He's allowing himself to feel and also to release it, that he's saying, okay, I'm going home and I'm going to be just dad.
Okay. So I've always heard you say a little learning is a dangerous thing. And one word that just jumped out as you were sharing that, compartmentalize. Initially, I thought that was a negative word. But part of what I'm hearing you saying is, learn how to separate. Don't detach nor disconnect, but sometimes maybe just turn it down a bit so that you're moving from home to work home with the same person. If that is it, then can I then ask, those difficult relationships at work or home, sometimes they're one and the same. The kindness that you show in one space, let's say to your customers and your colleagues, may end up being harshness when you get home because you're venting, you're frustrated, or the kindness you show to your family because that's your family, and those are the ones that when you come to work, it's the other way. So how do you manage difficult relationships? Can you manage them at work in particular, since we spend most time there?
Right. So I think in the workplace where there are difficult relationships, it's a lot to do with really managing the boundaries and being aware of how you're going to carry yourself and how you're going to keep a firm boundary. So to begin with, when there are challenging conversations, it's important to be brief in what you're saying, but still be respectful and warm. In that, say you and I, had some negative history, but we still were colleagues. We still have to work together. You ask me a question, I can respectfully and warmly be direct and answer your question, but still hold my boundary in that, okay, this is the information you need. This is the information I will give you. You don't need to know X, Y, Z about me. Yeah, so still holding that personal boundary. And it's also, as counterintuitive it is, if it is a challenging relationship, I still need to remember to actually be warm and friendly in that relationship, even though that might not be my gut instinct, because what I don't want to do is actually invite conflict, right? And most importantly, it's important to be kind of very brief in what we're saying in that. And a good kind of saying for me is, where there's a very challenging relationship, say it and stop.
Okay, so brief but not curt.
Brief but not curt. Always be respectful. Basically, golden rule, right? Still want to talk to someone the way you want to be spoken to.
See, this is where I think sometimes a juxtaposition. So brief, not curt, direct but not impertinent. How do we, because this is a colleague, unless the two of you change, or one of you change spaces, you're going to probably interact. And people will, you can cut the tension with that knife sometimes because they don't get along for whatever reason. So managing that then is not avoidance, but we don't want conflict. What do we do? And that's the same with the dynamic with the friend, with the spouse, with the sibling, with the child, the business partner. As I think Ms. Lopez, you were sharing, that thing that works in one space can be applied to the other. Can I then ask then? Jason, you shared, I think, on the drive home, switching gears.
Yep.
Your colleague, Mr. Shane, she said, okay, he's getting there. So can a person consciously, deliberately choose the mood, change their mood and mindset?
Absolutely, 100% yes. It takes practice. It's not an easy thing to do at all.
Okay.
But a lot of the time, it's really easy to fall into the trap that our emotions dictate how we have to behave. I can feel a way, but still choose to behave in a contrasting way. So, you mentioned earlier about we don't want to avoid. So it might be that I'm frustrated at work. Okay, I still want to experience that feeling. Yeah, I don't want to run away from it, but I don't let that frustration does not have to drive the car. That frustration does not have to influence how I behave.
Okay. I want to ask about this, Shane. I mean, sometimes in our two individuals going into a space, one knows that the other is in a bad mood. I mean, and maybe justifiably so. So they get to work, they're dealing with a client or so on, and then they put on a face and they go, picking up on what Jason was sharing, I need to change that because this thing, you just come from the bank and they just gave you some bad news, or whatever it is, now you got to go to work. You feel that. But doing that for some of us culturally, that doesn't, bode well with who we are. We what you see is what you get. You want to know how I feel? Don't have to worry, I'll tell you. Changing that dynamic, does that make us false and pretentious? Does that make us, professional and competent? What's your take?
We don't have to fake it.
Okay.
And that's why I mentioned earlier in terms of we have to be able to recognize what is it that we need in that moment first, so that we could fulfill that need for ourselves before we become present for someone else. So, for example, if we come from the bank and we're very frustrated, all right, so maybe before you see that client is feeling it, you could acknowledge, I'm annoyed that this happened. And maybe you have a colleague at work that could be that listening ear for you.
Okay.
It's just finding a way in terms of what is I need right now. So I am annoyed because I didn't get good service or something didn't go well with my finances. I'm annoyed.
Right.
Am I annoyed with the client? No. So I'm not dismissing my annoyance with the experience that I have. So when I'm in front of the client now, or the person that I'm dealing with, is I could be annoyed, but the annoyance does not overpower me.
Right.
So we will still have those emotions, but then we're able to shift in terms of, does the emotion control me, or do I still have the capacity? Now, that was what Jason was talking about, is we could have emotions, but the emotion does not have to overcome us. Whenever that occurs, is usually when this part of our brain, part of our emotional brain takes over our front part of our brain.
Whatever.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. So once that take over our prefrontal cortex, that helps us to make decisions, to think, to be able to process, then we're only responding for our emotions. But if we're able to still think while feel, we choose then in terms of how am I going to deal with this process. So in one instances is where we still have control over our emotions, and the other instance is our emotions take control of us. What we're asking for, what we're trying to teach people, because basically what we try to do is to help people to learn how to balance that they can think and they can feel, and you don't have to minimize one or the other. Is we want them to communicate.
All right, and this is where I like what you're sharing, because many of us, immediately the little that I understand, fruits of the spirit comes in, the idea of self-control. We ask our children to exercise it, but as adults, do we? Right? And I'm wondering if I may ask both of you, perhaps Jason first. The example, you just come from somewhere, you got really, disappointing information, news, and you got to deal with your client or family, but let's say it's the workplace. Can you say to the person, hey, listen, I'm gonna be as attentive as I am. I just, give me a second, and let them know, if I see you a little bit not myself. Do you share with them, or you just take that breath, say your prayer, whatever it is you do? I know a guy who, he's found out that he does a lot of press-ups in rapid succession. Then when he goes into the space, he's that much better. So we find what we want that is healthy. But do we tell a person, just give me a second, it's not about you, I just had or we don't say anything?
I think it depends on the context and the situation. So in certain scenarios, it might be appropriate for me to it might be a manager saying, XYZ happened to me today, so I'm a little off my game, blah, blah, blah. If it's a client or a customer, maybe that's not appropriate, that we kind of make that level of self-disclosure. But hopefully, as picking up on what Deshane was saying, is by the time we get to that point, we've already had that stress-relieving conversation with somebody, or we've done our press-ups, or we've had our breathing, we've done whatever we know is going to help us us.
I want to ask that in relation to, again, and thank you very much for this opportunity. So trying to prepare for it. You start reading, if you're not mindful, you end up hours later and have accomplished nothing but, explored rabbit holes. So the idea of coping strategies, popped up, and I did a little bit of, quick sort of cursory review of that. Is it then possible for the body to do things, or you consciously do things that you're hoping to elicit some way to get a capacity to cope, to find this thing? And if so, some examples, and maybe some examples to avoid, and not just the obvious in terms of some sort of drug, whether that's alcohol or what have you. I referenced the friend who does the push-ups. What he found is that for some reason that helps him, it burns off that level of frustration. It creates a positive. But one day, rather foolishly, he did it, and he thinks it tweaked a little thing in his arm that affected him not being able to do it. So exercise is good, but improper or over. So is it something that we can access to get the body to release those things that might help us?
Yeah, so the first thing I always think of and always recommend is it always comes back to the breath. Always comes back to breathing. So if we go back a little bit to what Deshane was saying earlier around when that emotional part of our brain kind of takes over and the front part of our brain isn't thinking, we need to switch that around.
Okay.
And the quickest way to do that is to let that emotional part of our brain know that there isn't a threat, know that we are safe. And we do that by relaxing our body with our breath. Yeah. And if you want to practice right now, you ready? So really simple exercise. I just want it, and anyone listening as well, just breathe in for 2. 1, 2. Hold for 2. Exhale for 4. 2, 3, 4. In for 2. 1, 2. Hold for 2. Exhale for 4. And all we're doing there is just slowing down our internal systems. And what that's going to do is bring that smart part of our brain back online. Yeah, and that's going to hopefully make us not make any kind of impulsive decisions or anything we might regret that's kind of been led by the emotional part of our brain.
I know people who consciously do that for different reasons, and there are some, with great respect, professionals, whether they're medical or other professionals, who are very dismissive until they themselves experience. But don't we not sometimes say to our co-workers or closest people, just take a moment, take a break, take a breath. We say that, but are we actually, and you were saying, practicing that? Take a breath. Like the joke of the fellow who never got in trouble with his wife after all, because every time she said something, before he responded, he put water in his mouth and took a drink. He just kept it there. Smart fellow, right? No, she's like, But do we now need to be that conscious in the workplace? And if so, are we at risk, even in today's world of enlightenment, where colleagues look at us and go, not necessarily got it together. Every minute is every fair. Is that the flip side of that you're trying to be this, positive, conscious individual who is not just there and considerate, but maybe this is a discussion for another time as you guys come on. It's 12:57.
Oh, that was quick. You were right.
Yeah.
So can I just quickly mention our open house?
Yes. Yes.
So in celebration of World Mental Health Day, we have our open house next Wednesday, October the 9th. Doors are open from 3 p.m. till 7 p.m. And you can come along and meet all our therapists and find out about all our different groups that we have running as well.
Okay, so that's the open house for your counselor. For those who don't know where you are?
We are at 75 Fort Street. It's called Adonis House.
Okay, right across from the post office. Sort of like...
From the post office?
No. 4th Street? No? Okay.
No.
See, I don't know. Tell me. Pause like, so don't mess with people's mind. No, I shouldn't do that.
I don't know where you're getting your mail from.
I'm just messing with the counselor. So you open a house, and for us just to pop in, whether we're former clients, prospective clients, or want to understand what is
So, yeah,
happening. Just come by.
absolutely anybody, just come by and come meet us all.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we hope to have to announce that, but publicly, let's have a discussion. Bring out your colleagues. Rotate out. I publicly acknowledge Dr. Alexandra Borden, who for a decade plus now has facilitated our monthly mental health matters.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about that show
yeah,
as well.
Yeah. So we know you guys are coming up. Again, preparation is key. Well, it was a pleasure to welcome you guys, have with you, and Ms. Lopez.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great week, guys. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Well, to our listeners, stay tuned and then join us after for some open line for the next half hour.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The Ministry of Tourism and Ports has launched the Visitors Experience Development Grant Program. This program is specifically for Caymanians looking to provide a new product or service to visitors of the Cayman Islands. Successful applicants may receive up to 50,000 CI dollars in funding to be used for business-related expenditures. Be sure to find out for more information and to apply. Visit www.ourcayman.ky/VEDGP.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Prescription refills made easy at Savannah Pharmacy. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time,
we must be relevant. Radio Cayman since 1976. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Dwayne Ebanks. The Water Authority Cayman says they will be conducting wastewater infrastructure upgrades along West Bay Road near Kintyre Drive, starting with preliminary activities tomorrow, the 1st of October. The main works will flow, weather permitting, and are expected to last approximately 2 weeks. During this period, the southbound lane of West Bay Road will be partially obstructed, but two-way traffic will be maintained. Motorists are advised to drive cautiously and follow traffic signs in the area to ensure safety. In regional news in St. Vincent, police are investigating the shooting death of 37-year-old farmer Othniel Lavia, also known as Curtel, in Petit Bourdil on Sunday. This marks the second killing in the North Leeward village within 2 days and the 32nd homicide in St. Vincent and the Grenadines this year. Lavia was reportedly shot after an altercation with another villager earlier Sunday morning. His death follows the fatal shooting of Stranran Stapleton, also known as Stanpide, on Friday night. Stapleton was shot in the chest and back with multiple spent shells found at the scene. Authorities are continuing their investigations into both incidents. The Jamaica government's plan to introduce unexplained wealth orders to combat money laundering has stalled, remaining at the concept stage without formal cabinet approval. The Ministry of National Security confirmed the delay, citing unresolved policy issues. The push for UWOs gained momentum after a controversial Integrity Commission report on Prime Minister Andrew Holness's financial affairs highlighted unexplained asset growth. Despite scrutiny, Holness denies wrongdoing and is considering legal action. Originally expected by the end of 2021, the UWO legislation has faced multiple delays with no progress reported in the 2023-2024 parliamentary session. That is your latest headlines. I'm Jevy Ebanks.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
The Health Services Authority would like to thank you, the Cayman community, for voting us the Best of Cayman Islands 2024 in 13 medical categories. As the largest and longest healthcare provider in the Cayman Islands, we have been caring for you for many generations, helping the people of our islands live longer, healthier, and happier lives. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For more information, visit hsa.ky or call 949-8600.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
In the spring and summer of 1978, U.S.-based regional air carrier Red Carpet Airlines was operating non-stop service twice a week between Cayman Brac and the St. Petersburg Clearwater International Airport in Florida, as well as inter-island flights non-stop between Cayman Brac and Grand Cayman, 5 days a week, with both services being flown with twin-engine Convair 440 prop aircraft. By the summer of 1980, Red Carpet was operating direct one-stop service twice a week between Cayman Brac and Tampa International Airport via a stop at Grand Cayman. By the spring of 1982, Red Carpet's successor AeroSun International was continuing to operate Convair 440 service between Cayman Brac and Tampa and Grand Cayman.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. And thanks to Mr. Carl for making things happen as we are a team committed to working together. So we're open line now until 1:30. And to the good lady who called earlier, if you wanted to share your thoughts, if you think it's appropriate, go right ahead. Anybody else who wants to share anything else, certainly come on and share your thoughts with us. And open line until 1:30. Friends in Crisis Center will join us, and then at 2, good folks from the Lions will be a part of our discussion. But as we were just having an excellent conversation and company of our colleagues over at the counseling center, and talking about making mental health in the workplace a priority, the theme as part of World Mental Health Day, they're going to be having an open house, as he shared, but also the theme that is trying to prioritize mental health in the workplace. We spend a lot of time there, whether we're working for ourselves or whether we are a new recruit to the organization or whether we've been there for a long time. We spend a lot of time at work, so let's make sure that it's not only rewarding and fulfilling, but at the end of the day it's healthy, as nurturing, accommodating, safe, validating, as Mr. Dunkley shared together with his colleague Ms. Lopez. It is Monday, and seemingly every day, we wake, we are hopefully still grateful for the opportunity to see that and gracious for what transpires, but cognizant that life unfolds no matter what. At times, as much as we plan and prepare, it's still unpredictable. So how do we join our hands and hearts and offer up a semblance of being helpful, not hinder, hurt, nor harm, but to help? So share with me, what is it that we need to do as we close out this month of September with the 3 remaining months of the year, and according to the hurricane calendar, we'll be anticipating October, November, but there are weather systems and there are events that unfold sometimes that are as much of a, how would we say, cause for concern as it is an opportunity to recognize that being prepared and working together, we can not only mitigate any negative consequences that might unfold, but we might be better positioned to respond positively to the plights of an individual that is facing some challenge or the other. So 949-8037, 949-6990. You can WhatsApp call if you wish, 925-32621. If you want to use the Flow toll-free number, well, go right ahead. 1-800-534-TALK, 1-800-534-8255. And had a interesting opportunity over the weekend to interact with some individuals who were sharing that the more and more we look at the world, and presumably at the not just the established and existing democracies, but those who not too long ago were sort of trying to get to that space, were being encouraged and facilitated. One individual said, if you look at where we are with the Western world and Europe in particular, is democracy under threat? Is it not just the prospect of war or other sort of unrest from the political differences in the respective parliaments to the people in the country seemingly feeling displaced, being pushed aside by technology and the threat of AI or other sort of deployment to immigration that now 30 and 40 years and some maybe even longer has taken a foothold. Perhaps the changed premise as to the way people approach. In that, one guy, he said, look at it from two places. In the workplace now, a lot of people are looking at the workplace and whether appropriate and proper and long overdue or just misunderstood, they're seeing this work environment, and unlike his generation, you went to work, the work was a priority, everything else was secondary. The work and the pay, the promotion, the profit that you made, that is what positioned you to be able to take care of the people in your life that mattered. It paid the bills. It provided, as he puts it, a roof over your head and food on the table. But now, as he's gone back in to do some quote-unquote consulting as an organization restructures, a lot of, and to him, he can say that without anybody feeling the way, that are a lot younger than he is. Their approach to work isn't, in his view, with the same level of sort of energy and enthusiasm and commitment. They apply for vacation, for instance. There's not just an expectation, it's almost as if it's being dictated, oh, I'm taking vacation here, as opposed to, how he understood it and how he did it. You applied, and if it was approved, they could be varied. Now, usually it was approved, but sometimes it wasn't. Now he says, hey, they're telling you, taking a long weekend, or at this point in time, we're going. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? He says, well, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe he should have done more of that, 40 years ago when he was, closer to that age. Only to share that as I listened to him and then had a discussion today with our friends from the Counseling Center, it kind of makes you question, do we have it right? Just like our meals. We know we need to eat something to give us not just the sustenance to be able to go on, but is that why we're eating it? To be able to function. Is it when we eat and how we eat, as well as, what we eat? Interesting, no? So let's hear from you. 949-8037, 949-6990. But his other thought was the notion that it's not just the people in an organization, but if you look at some of the politics and increasingly growing divisions among many allies, where, in short order, his view is that we could see more and more restrictions on travel and the movement of people that up until now was almost, a great push to integrating, to facilitating people moving across borders without any great restriction. He shared that with the UK coming out of the EU, some are seeing some of the challenges, but was that sort of the thing that now has sparked other European nations to look more and more at, his words, sort of disintegration as opposed to growing integration and unification. Well, what is your thought? Now, one other person in the group asked, well, how does that affect Cayman? Other than, well, you want to travel? Well, he shared that itself isn't something to be easily dismissed or quickly dismissed, in that if you want to travel, not just because you are, from some parts of, in those places, but just because you want to, will you be able to? Will it be, as easy and convenient as it was? Or will it be not just restrictive, but, a great impediment that you can't, even if you wanted to? From that, he also asked the question, would it mean that some of the things that in this part of the world, whether the access to goods, whether it's, medical, food or otherwise, will they be, increasingly difficult to get? Not just costly, but to get even if you're able to pay it. Will it also mean that the collaboration, the benefit from emerging technology, the potential that someone has a particular skill set that you could employ, will that be an impediment? Well, it's your thoughts. 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp call 925-3261 and share your thoughts with us. And then at the request of a sort of small group of individuals who I think hopefully will make their presence here, before the year is out, from the perspective of asking the public to be, more, if that's possible for some, but certainly for many the viewers, to be more consciously involved with our next sort of iteration of our general elections, not just in pushing, encouraging, facilitating the registration of those eligible to become electors. So if you're able to vote, eligible to vote, get registered. But as one of the individuals shared, in getting them to not allow any interest group or any organized established entity to define the landscape, as beneficial as it is, but for the individuals to be more sort of vociferous in their approach. He said, for instance, when the Chamber of Commerce organizes the candidates forum, for some in the early days may have seen it to be more of a general approach to the politics, as opposed to his perception in recent times that it's been more business centric. He shared, well, that's an organized entity with a declared interest, resources, and certainly the will to do so. No pun there, Mr. Pano. And secondly, where, and drawing from their sort of page, could the public do likewise? A body of students, for instance, at one of the universities, perhaps the law school, student society, but other entities helping to drive the interest and information sharing and educating the public about some of the policies. All right, let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for sharing.
Hey, Mr. Dwayne.
Hey, good to hear from you, man. How are you today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everything okay, right?
And, it isn't, but it will be. And, I trust all is well with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just one thing that Friday. Miss Jan. She called in there talking about this tree again on the road. Talking about the public park and that it should be closed to the public at certain times because of certain people that are going to go inside the park when it's open up to the public. Windsor Park, how Windsor Park look. So that kind of triggered me Friday, and I was trying to call you, but I couldn't get on. But so I wrote down everything I had in my head today.
Okay.
Because what she was like kind of almost describing here is a mentality that is holding us back almost because of this discrimination and, kind of things like how she's talking about the tree. Now, you're the person of this island and all this kind of things, but you don't like this tree. I had to figure out why she don't like this tree. It's because she driving the taxi from the airport and how the tree look. The tree look like it leaning every time she coming from the airport. So she's afraid that the tree will lean on her one day. You understand? So she want that tree out of the road. Same thing when we're talking about the people down Windsor Park. Who it is down Windsor Park is nothing but, the minority of the, the poor people down up there, or what she called the poor people down up in there. The people that are going to go up inside the Central Park is the poor people that are going to go up inside it. So that kind of mentality is what is holding back Cayman Island, this stigmatization of people that are, they just can't get no better through the systematic, ways of our government. Right? So when she says those kind of things, they kind of trigger me. They kind of make me, feel anxiety of like, boy, I really can't get nowhere because these people, they even hate the trees. This tree went through Ivan and Mr. Dwayne. Right? So that what makes me, and it personally to me, makes me feel like, boy, I really don't have no hope in the Cayman Islands as long as these people have the power to express this kind of racism and kind of classism on open air. You understand? And it's not like she don't have the power, because when she was calling and talking about the cars making the noise, not too long after the vehicle requirements came out and said you can't have these mufflers making these noise anymore. So it's not like she don't have no power in anything she's saying. That's why I'm asking her, like, please, like, when you decide to talk about something, please decide to talk about something that is very, very meaningful, not just for you and your taxi job.
But is it, and I hear you, but is it then that perhaps her and others who are out, like you, seeing a lot of what's happening, trying to figure out how best to do it? I hear your point. I'm trying to reflect on how, I perceive what she was saying as I was listening. So maybe two things. The tree, and she did reference two of the trees, but that eucalyptus one, I think many people have questioned, well, is it now a danger? Will it fall over? Others would say, man, that's been there a long time. Is there a way to ensure that it's continue, health and growth, and that it's safe? Some of us would see the tree removed and feel like it's one of the greatest things, greatest losses that we'll have, right? So how do we make sure that we balance the safety of it? And to your point, maybe it's impeding some, but also to preserve that tree and not let it go the way of the Guinness tree by the old West End building, or even when is that the fig tree by the LA building? They had trimmed up some time ago. Now that famous or infamous tamarind tree that we hear much about on Sheridan Road. So is it that the tree is symbolic of much? The almond tree on South Church Street sort of juts out into the road there as well, right?
Yes, sir. They are symbolic because you know what? They show you that not everything fall down during Ivan or during hurricanes.
Right.
Yeah, there's a way to stand up to hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she want to be a hurricane and try to dictate poor people's life.
Yeah. Well, and maybe
the assumption that is that poor drug heads going to go up inside the Central Park. But so what? So what? You're not going to be there you're not going to be there when they're there. So what? Give the little people some little piece of comfort or something that can ease their mind off the stress, because there's a lot of people that think like her, that think they're better than every one of us on the island.
Well, maybe I hear you, but maybe it's
and
not.
And sorry, Mr. D, I'm not attacking her, and I'm attacking the mentality that is still
right
amongst us.
Yeah, I think I gathered that, but I'm glad you clarified it so people appreciate it. I didn't think that you were doing anything in that respect.
No, sir.
That's not you.
I love it, but I just can't. I just can't stand that they still choose to follow this type of back in the day mentality.
Well, with what you're saying, I mean, two things immediately jump out. You referenced the Central Park, or any, but since that one is going to be an ongoing project, it has already spanned, a number of years, probably decades if you looked at it. One question is, to what extent the surrounding community, and in particular the immediate community that is sort of bordering this park, how receptive, how willing, how desiring are they of the park? Are they on board? Secondly, to what extent should the park proceed, not only the expenditure of the funds, the maintenance, upkeep, but its use? Will it be subscribed and used by the people in the area, or will it be this thing that somehow, as more and more development pushes into areas, and that one in this instance, will that displace or further displace more people? How are we balancing these things so that more people feel welcome and accommodated and facilitated and acknowledged, as opposed to displaced, discarded, and somehow disrespected? Is it not something that we've considered? Maybe we have. I don't know.
I don't think so. Once you got a mind that you think that you're going to lock up something that's for the public.
Right. So with that, right, the second thing is from what you shared. Again, just have the conversation with you. People can guide us that we've onto something or that we've totally missed the plot. But you use Windsor Park as an example. And I think there are too many things that are happening in our society that seemingly is, those things are leading to a growing division, right? One is people are pointing fingers at others. So a group of, say, former foreign nationals looking at another set and going, boy, be careful of them. Or a group of people over here pointing fingers at them and say, you know, boy, you know, they got to watch them. And in so doing, let's take two things. One, our dogs, the type of dogs we allow our dogs to run freely, or when we have them, are they on leash and muzzle so that they're not creating a nuisance or, you know, a negative impact on other people as they're using the space, whether it's the park, the sidewalks, walking or running. And, you know, on top of that, are the dogs, you know, when they do the little drop-ins, you know, are we really consciously, deliberately, you know, picking up behind them? Because many people don't, right?
No.
And then the use of, say, a park, Windsor Park, is that park being properly engaged so that the wider community has taken ownership, so that the activities that are taking place in that park are wholesome, not detrimental to anybody? Or are we willing to turn a blind eye and say, well, that's them, what they're doing now, so, you know, once it stays there, it's good? To me, that's not the right approach. You know, those are people too.
No, they're not. And I can see what the proper issue would be. Alluring though is that it'll be foreigners have take to control the public park, meaning say like they can go inside there, walk the dog, and you know do what they want to do up inside there, but around the people that are from the area and making them feel like they can't do nothing, just sit there and tolerate it. You understand? That's what we've been doing, tolerating these mentality that is holding us back from becoming a social and very independent society amongst our peers and amongst the rest of the people of the world. When they come here and they see how divided we are, can you imagine how bad that looks upon Cayman Islands?
Yeah.
The place so divided like this. And the main thing is like when they said too, like you're not allowed to bring in a certain year of car. That is again targeting against poor people.
Yeah, I mean it's
Thank you very much, Mr. Dwayne. Okay.
All right, listen, thank you for sharing that, man. And we've got guests scheduled from the Crisis Center. Join us for a bit, and then we invite you to stay tuned.
The rich flavors of Italy just arrived at Subway. Say ciao to the Italianos. Our 3 new Subway series recipes, carefully crafted with an Italian flair. Try the Hot Shot Italiano for an enticing and zesty touch. The tastier than ever Ultimate BMT, generously stuffed with a mix of ham, pepperoni, and salami. Or go all in with the creamy chicken bacon Alfredo. New Subway series Italianos. Chef-crafted greatness in every bite. Elevate your game only at Subway. Delizioso.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Refer a friend and get $50 to spend when your friend or family member opens a personal account with Cayman National. From July 9th to September 30th, 2024, C&B customers can earn $50 for each referral who opens an individual or joint personal account. Earn up to $500 with a maximum of 10 referrals. Visit CaymanNational.com for more details on this promotion and follow us on social media for updates. Terms and conditions apply.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Always separate debris from household garbage after a hurricane hits. Debris includes roofing materials, downed tree branches, and metals. All items of debris must be placed in separate piles to the front of the property or at a side that is easily accessible to collection trucks. Debris must be placed in a location that will not cause obstruction to roadways or come in contact with electrical lines.
For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit DAH website at www.gov.ky/DAH.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And from the Crisis Center, our executive director, always a pleasure when she comes in, and she comes bearing gifts, even better.
Thank you.
It is great to see how when we combine, as I keep saying, reminding us, our hands are hearts, we can do so much together that is meaningful and timely and impactful and so positive. So, Ms. Anya, to you and your colleagues, thanks for coming on board. Thanks for what you do. And through you, we get to, join our discussion.
Thank you so much for having us and for allowing us this space to spread the word.
All right.
Yes.
Well, it's available to you always. And I know that if in a community we're doing things together, we will make it, not just successful, fulfilling, rewarding, but timely and meaningful. Today is the 30th of September. Many are scrambling to make sure their loan payments are paid, their rent is paid. Some are worrying about stuff. But it also means that tomorrow is the start of a new month.
Yes.
And with that, whether it's May showers and April flowers, it's still one good to see. So what does October mean for us over at Crisis Center?
So October means for us a lot because it's the beginning of the Domestic Abuse Awareness Month.
Okay.
And I have here with me Chrisani Atkinson, who is our new outreach coordinator. And she, with some other employees, some other colleagues, prepared a wonderful campaign, awareness campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So Chrisani, maybe you would
welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Well, October is going to be a very exciting month for us. We have a few initiatives and some campaigns going on. We have a few presentations in the community. We'll also be having information booth setups. But to dive into the specifics of October, we are actually looking to have on the 18th is a Pink Cayman Purple Day, and this is where we want everyone to come out and support us, standing in solidarity, fighting against the issue of domestic abuse in Cayman Islands. We'll also be at the Silent Witness March, so this is a perfect opportunity for everyone to come out and support. It's a huge event every year. It happens. We also have our Thrivers Jamboree, and this is on the 12th, and it's in support of our clientele, just to acknowledge their courage and resilience, right? We will also be on a panel discussion on the 18th, so 3 big things going on the 18th, and this is in partnership with Mothers Union at St. George's Anglican Church.
Yeah. That's a Friday, is it the 18th?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good way to not just end the weekend, but start the week in a sense, if you think about it.
I definitely agree.
So the 18th.
The 18th. We also have our social media campaigns, which will be running for the entire month of October. We have our quick curries, which will be starting tomorrow, actually on the 1st. And with our quick queries, it's just to get the public engaged with the issue of domestic abuse. We'll throw some questions out to them and we'll get their feedback, and then we will just provide a short answer on that specific question just to debunk any misconceptions. We'll also be opening the floor for them to contribute to the conversation. So if they have any questions that they like answered, they could feel free to send us a DM from Tuesday to Wednesday, and on Thursday we will be addressing those. We also have our Anonymous Overcomer campaign, and this is where we get feedback from our clientele. They provide us with some answers. We have a few questions that we are going to be focusing on, and it's kind of like a stage. So when they come into the shelter, we have a question specific to that, and they'll share their experience, but also during their stay at the shelter and after they've left, so the challenges that they may have faced. We also have our testimonial, and this is for all our programs. So we have feedback given from our clientele just to share the impact that CICC has on them. And lastly, we have our Did You Know? I'm sorry for rambling.
We have our conveying a very important message.
Yes. So we have our Did You Know segment, and this is every Friday for the month of October. And it's basically just to provide some facts and statistics on domestic abuse.
And I think increasingly information that is timely and accurate, trusted, verified, can actually help us, so that you share it, not just to separate the myths from the misinformation, but help us to appreciate that there are things that we labor under, Ms. Anya, and we don't realize the difference because no one corrected it.
Yeah, that's very true. And I also would like to take this opportunity and give a big shout out to Renee McManey, who actually came up with this campaign, the social media campaign, and worked very closely with Chrisani. And I think this is the first time that we're going to have, such a dynamic campaign that every day we will be posting something. So we invite all the listeners to join our social media.
And this way, we can get that information in our own space at our own time, and not feel like there's an exam, or not feel that by subscribing to it that somehow we're less than, but we're actually more empowered. Well, through you, can we invite your children and youth coordinator, Ms. Sarah, into the conversation?
Yes, of
course. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. A little bit nervous. It's my first radio interview, but I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, you're most welcome, and I think, recognizing it's your first interview, so we got balloons going to stream us from the ceiling. We got to close your eyes real tight to imagine.
See them.
No, most days, except the days ending away, but most days we're friendly and welcoming. Those are the days. But from your perspective, though, as we look at it, it is one of those topics that we still, I think, somewhat globally, still keep it quiet when we talk about the abuse, within our own space, and many times not even cognizant of the abuse, whether it's once or ongoing, but the impact that it has on those individuals, but then the surrounding, especially the children. Is there anything in particular that we need to be more cognizant, less tolerant, more accommodating and loving when it comes to the potential impact that domestic abuse has on the children?
Yeah, that's a good question. Domestic abuse is definitely affecting children. And I would also like to point out that it's not only affecting children when they're...
Can I actually just kindly put that mic a little close to the base? Works nicely.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right. The base can move if you wish.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I should have done that earlier.
No worries. So domestic abuse is definitely affecting children. And I would like to point out that it's not only affecting children when they experience domestic abuse themselves, but also if they witness the domestic abuse going on in the household. And
I appreciate you sharing that. If I might ask, well, sometimes I think many of us think, oh, you're a big boy, you're 50 years old, or you're 15, that thing still isn't affecting you. So sort of a multi-part question, but firstly, is the age of the child, not just the child who is a child by law in terms of being under the age of majority, but a child who is still somebody's child. Does the age matter in the potential impact domestic abuse would have on, quote unquote, the child, but specifically, let's talk about that young child under the age of majority.
Yeah. So the younger the child, the better they might come out of this domestic abuse situation, but it's still affecting the child either way. What I want to point out is, especially for young children, it has an effect on the mother or the child, the guardian-child relationship. It's like the child believing in like someone can keep the child safe, right?
Yeah.
And that's like very affected in those situations.
I've often heard it say we are a product of our circumstances, Miss Anya, and the reason is trying to understand, we are probably dismissive of the impact certain things have. Oh, that wasn't anything because it didn't result in any, physical or serious, but it probably was more of an impact than we give credence to it. And then with the child, is that thing affecting future relations, not just personal relations, but business relations, the mental psyche? What are your thoughts on that?
So it's something you pointed out is very interesting that we very often dismiss, right? Especially if child is not experiencing the abuse directly. And a lot of our clients who come to the shelter, they would say things like, oh, they didn't see anything, or, they were in a separate room. They do hear, they do feel it. Even if they don't see something, they can sense something is not right. They know their mom is scared, and it, of course, affects them greatly for their future. And for the campaign that Chrisani and Renee did, for the our social media campaign, you came up with statistics, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was something about 80% of the victims, and similar, I think, was 73% of the perpetrators were actually abused as children. So they bring that with them to their adulthood.
Okay, so the victim was also abused early on, but is now still. We understood the perpetrator was probably, abused. Hurt people, right?
Yeah, but you have to remember that when child is brought up in a household when there is abuse, and unfortunately, this gender, difference here that girls are, because of the situation their mother is in, they learn the victim mentality, right? And if there is no intervention, if there is no help and support provided, they will bring this with them to adulthood. And then when they are going into their own relationships, they are in that mindset, right, of being a victim, and they're more likely to accept certain behaviors that other people would not.
A product of our circumstances and what is seemingly the norm, even though it's not normal, but it's what you know. All right, we have the break, my friend, and when we come back, can we chat some more? And thank you all for coming in, because it's a challenging topic, but the more I think we can talk about it publicly, responsibly, and as respectful as you guys have, the more receptive we may be of our own behaviors and lack thereof, right? All right, let's pause and take a break. Join us right after.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. The ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom. The land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman is proud to continue to serve our island community. During the last Lionistic year, they successfully carried out community projects like the Prostate and Colon Cancer Awareness Campaign, site screenings, spelling bees, swim meets, and their community food pantry. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman looks forward to continuing their service during the 2024-2025 Lionistic year and for many more years to come. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman. Where there's a need, there's a lion, serving the community for over 50 years.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valued customers and the motoring public of wastewater infrastructure upgrade works along West Bay Road near Kintyre Drive, opposite Treasure Island. Preliminary activities will take place on Tuesday, October 1st, with the main works beginning soon thereafter, weather permitting. This work is anticipated to continue for approximately 2 weeks. During this time, the southbound lane of West Bay Road will be partially obstructed. However, Water Authority and its contractor will maintain two-way traffic throughout. Traffic signs will be in place in the general vicinity of the works. Motorists are asked to drive with caution and follow all signs when in the area to ensure their own safety as well as the safety of the Water Authority and its contractors' staff. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it upgrades its wastewater infrastructure and apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, thanks very much, and to Ms. Anya, together with the team over at the Crisis Center, for not just the work you do, but for the public engagement, the education, and maybe a recognition that sometimes in our own lives, if we stop, take stock, and reflect, we might find that our actions aren't as instructive or helpful as we want, or that there's a lot more we can do if together. For this, topic, I think, Ms. Anya, we would all agree. Hopefully, one day there's be no issue in any respect, but that won't only come unless we work together.
This is our vision, actually, too, and to close our doors forever because we no longer gonna be needed. But there's a long way before we get there.
Yeah. Is it then, if I may ask, and I recognize and respect your time, and certainly I would invite you in the future to come on as you wish, but statistics help us sometimes to understand the impact, and maybe I'm looking for that ideal thing that is attainable if we work. But one individual negatively affected in some way, in my mind, is one individual too many. Mm-hmm. For some people, they say, well, geez, that's one, when you do it as a number, it's so statistically insignificant. But to me, it's important because it's one person. Mm-hmm. Having said that, do we have numbers in the Cayman context? Not just what we extrapolated, but to see what we're looking at when we talk about domestic abuse?
So we do. We have actually our own statistics as a crisis center, as an agency. and we're looking at supporting on average about 100 women and children, and those are only the persons coming to our shelter, right?
Yeah.
But those are only the persons who actually come forward. There is so many people out there who are not speaking up, who are afraid, and that's we only, I'm sure this is just the tip of an iceberg right now. And for example, in terms of crisis calls, we receive on average about one crisis call a day, so about 350 of them annually. There is, there's a global statistic that 1 in 3 women is being abused in their lifetime, and 1 in 4 men. So, and I know quite often we talk about women as a victim and men as a perpetrator, and that's because with the crisis center and the shelter that we currently have right now, it's only for women and children. But in our walk-in office, Estella's Place, we do receive, walk-ins from male victims of abuse.
Right.
We cannot provide them shelter yet. We are planning on doing that in the future, but right now we cannot. However, we can support them in every way. We support women at the shelter. We cannot at this point give them the bed to sleep on.
Yeah.
Everything else is for them available as well.
And we want to ask about your, the new shelter, but if I might just revisit it, there may be a reluctance on some of us, and probably men as well as much, in potentially being maligned and stigmatized and seeking help. But with the 100 people that you have, and the women and children, is that I'm thinking to some spaces where the mother has adult children who are supportive, but they are adults, in the sense that they're over 18, the age of majority. Is that support to those children as well, or just to those who are legally under 18?
So if the 18-year-olds or older decide to come as well, if they're from the same household, and even if they just witness abuse, they are victims of abuse, right? Yeah. So they are eligible to come with their moms. We have very big challenge right now that it breaks all our hearts, is that the boys of age of 16 plus, they cannot come to our shelter. And the reason for it is we have 3 bedrooms where actually 4, but the 4th is kind of like an overflow small little room where there's just bed, nothing else. But we have 3 bedrooms where our clients very often, because of that, they need to share the space. Yeah. And, we have young moms, we have moms with teenage girls. We cannot have an 18-year-old boy in the same room than the little girls and the young moms. So right now the age is unfortunately 16 for the boys, but we are working to change that.
I want to ask you about that, but this is where the impact on the children, Sarah, you were sharing that here is a household where there is that boy who is older, he's part of that household, experiences thing, but if for safety and other reasons the family needs to go to a space, he's going to be understandably, sort of displaced at that moment. Whether he has somewhere to go or not isn't the issue. Is that he's not in a space with his, sister or younger siblings or, mother. A negative consequence for our community as a result of this act.
And very often those moms who have boys who are 16 or older, they decide at the end not to come to us. Because, I wouldn't leave my son behind if he was 16 or 17, right? I wouldn't do that. So they either choose to stay with a friend or a family member somewhere on the couch, or they decide to stay in the situation they are in.
And this is the impact that we're seeing in the wider community. So the new shelter eventually may be able to accommodate male and female. Do you want to share with us, what that looks like?
Yes. This is, I think, something I constantly talk about. I think they have enough of the new shelter. But we are actually, quite far now in terms of, it used to be in the plan stage, but right now we are really, getting there. We have 1/3 of the budget put aside. And of course, I'm inviting all supporters and donors and sponsors. If anyone would like to help us to build that shelter faster, please reach out. But we're probably looking at, optimistic kind of prognosis is about 2 years that we're gonna have our new shelter. And yes, we want to be all inclusive. We want the shelter to be for men, for women, for children, and for LGBT community. So we want everyone who is, doesn't matter the age or gender. We want the boys who are over 16 be able to come with their moms, and the men, if they're being abused and they need support, they can come as well.
What kind of financial support? I mean, to get this to fruition, what do you need? $1 billion? $10?
No, so we're looking at with these prices, and the price keeps going up, right? The final figure, but right now we're probably looking about $3.5 million, and we have about 1,500. Put aside. Our fundraising committee is working very hard, and the board of directors working very hard to make sure that we not only have the money for our annual operations, but also to make some extra, or to have the donors and sponsors to give us some extra, so we can put towards that.
As I listen, I'm seeing the impact on the wider community. But on that one family, if it's only one, now we know it's not. So it's for us to partner. How can we? I mean, what would you like us? I reckon it's a time, but you also have an event coming up. So how can we partner with you? Whether it's true, as Ms. Marlin talks about, time, talent, or treasure. What can we do? Ms. Chrisanne?
So, in partnering with us, we actually have a huge initiative coming up in December, which is one of our main fundraisers, which is our Jingle Bell Walk Run. Christmas. The dates and all the specifics are still in the process of being finalized, and we'll share that with the public once we have that. But otherwise, you could donate to us separately outside of that, or you could choose to volunteer with us as well.
With respect to your volunteers, is there any particular criteria? So can men, women, can children? Is there any criteria that you're looking for in terms of volunteers, and what sort of things would those volunteers be able to assist with?
Well, the volunteer program really has a different areas. So we have our warehouse, we have shelter coverage, assisting with fundraising and other events, outreach initiatives as well. So we do accept both men and women. However, the age is from 25 up. But if you'd like to get involved, we have a Get Involved tab on our website. You can go on there and you fill out the form. Another thing to note is that we do have a requirement of police report
Clearance,
to be submitted. You'll have to sign confidentiality agreement and release of liability agreement. And of course, they'll have to undergo the necessary trainings for the different programs and services that we have.
It's all about not only ensuring the person is making a contribution, but you're doing it in a way that is safe and beneficial to all. Right. Before Ms. Anya says her final thoughts, Ms. Sarah, anything you want to share with the listeners? Any thoughts from you?
Yes, definitely. So we have like a program. It's the Thai Lounge program. I just want to point it out here because it's so important to break the cycle of abuse, and it starts with the younger generation, right? The teens, the young adults. So it's a safe space, an after-school program for the ages from 14 to 21 years old, where they can come after school. We provide recreational activities. We also want to build on life skills, often like life skills that they don't learn in school or at home because they might not have the role models at home, right? So if you guys know someone who might be in a place where they need some more support, they're going through like a difficult time in their life, you can always refer them to us. I would like to give you the email address. It's taya@cicc.ky. And reach out to us. We're really happy to have those teens and young adults with us.
That's TYA?
At TAYA.
TAYA, okay.
And that stands for teens and young adults.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Teens and young adults. TAYA at CICC.
.ky.
.ky.
And we also are looking for volunteers for this program. So please, any volunteer, if you would like to support us in any way, please email volunteer@cicc.ky. And for any general inquiries, info@cicc.ky.
Well, thank you all very much, not just for your concerted, consistent effort, but the way you present it in a way that makes us understand the impact, and sometimes not just our actions, but our inactions. And it's caused me to reflect sometimes in a way that you go, wow, you just don't know, what you're not doing or what you're doing because you just wouldn't. But now we do. Well, when that date for your Jingle Bell Walk Around in December is announced, and you want to announce it, we're just a resource away.
Absolutely.
So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Have a great week. It's a Monday. What a wonderful way to start it off with your company.
Yes, and remember, there is no excuse for domestic abuse. October, Domestic Abuse Awareness Month. Please join us.
Thank you very much for reminding us, and hopefully we'll take stock and appreciate what we're doing and not doing. So together we'll make it work. All right. Let's pause and take a break. And return, we invite you to join us. Stay tuned.
Information, entertainment, inspiration.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac.
Since 1976 till now.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Dwayne Ebanks. The government has issued an RFP on its Bonfire Hub procurement site for CI $150 million, or approximately US $183 million loan. The goal is to secure a 15-year amortized loan with monthly payments of interest and principal. Proposals must include a firm offering detailing the interest base rate and margin, benchmark against a 10-year TSY or Fed rate. The loan will be drawn in two tranches, $23 million by November the 25th and $127 million within 3 months of the agreement. The deadline for the proposal is October the 18th. In regional news, Belize authorities are investigating the discovery of 474 grams of suspected cocaine on a boat owned by Minister Andre Perez, responsible for blue economy and disaster risk management. The boat, docked for repairs in San Pedro over 6 months, was found with drugs last Friday. Perez, who recently returned to office after a leave of absence, claims no knowledge of the drugs and is cooperating with the investigation. The boatyard owner confirmed Perez's statement, noting that the minister's consistent docking fee payments. Prime Minister John Briceño does not believe Perez is being set up, suggesting the drugs were placed without Perez's knowledge. Advanced ballistic analysis in Turks and Caicos have revealed that a single firearm is linked to at least 32 murders, underscoring the threat of organized crime. Police Commissioner Edwin Martin disclosed that multiple individuals have used the weapon in various homicides, indicating a coordinated effort by a small group of offenders. The rise in violent crimes is attributed to illegal immigration, drug trafficking, gun smuggling, and gang activity. In response, the police have launched Operation Might, which has led to a decline in overall crime. However, many cases remain unsolved, posing ongoing challenges to law enforcement. That is your latest headlines. I'm Dwayne Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
The DVDL Customer Support Unit is now open. Customers can book appointments for written and driving tests through DVDL's hotline at 945-8344. That's 945-8344.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
So, Mr. Carl, are we on air? Yeah. Are we on YouTube? Are we on Facebook? And as we welcome our guests, you see us would have been sat or being seated? Huh. Well, Miss Deborah I.E. Banks. Thank you, Mom, for coming on board. See, the wonderful thing of live radio, how it unfolds. Interesting, right?
Yes,
well, thank you for reaching out to us. And, this month we're going to have a wonderful opportunity, not just in partnership with the other Lions Club, but yours included, and the wider community, as we just did with the Council Center at the beginning and with the Crisis Center just then. So much is unfolding in our country, and it can be complementary as it can be, competitive. This thing competes with your time to do that thing, but if we do it together, we'll find it beneficial. I must commend you and all of your colleagues, both in your professional and personal capacities, finding time. It's only 24 hours in a day. Some of you find somehow to make it, magnified. So thanks very much.
Yeah, that means you don't sleep much.
well. I think my snoring.
But it's all good.
It's all good?
It's all good.
Sometimes you don't sleep much because your partner keeps you awake, and that's snoring. Sometimes you sleep much because you got so much on your mind that you don't rest. But even when some of us don't sleep no more than 2 or 3, maybe good night 4 hours, still not enough time. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on board and sharing with us. I have my notes that you have given me, so thank you. But for our listeners, through you, instead of me reading, I get the perspective of hearing from you.
Okay. September, although today is the 30th of it, the 30th day, has been designated as Childhood Cancer Month. And Lions going into our second century, because we turned 100 years old in 2017. Lions did some refocusing on our global causes. Up until that point, vision was our main cause. And so they also found the rise in diabetes, and which was linked to vision as well. So diabetes has become now our main cause. And they also decided to add in childhood cancer because we were seeing a rise in that as well. So our 5 main global causes is diabetes, vision, hunger, childhood cancer, and environment. And then we also used to do youth, and so that we have then 3 goals, which is youth, humanitarian, and disaster relief. So when that came on board in 2017, our club, which is the Lions Club of Grand Cayman, we already had a cancer program, which we do PACE, which is prostate and colon cancer event, which colon cancer and testicular as well. And then our sister club, the Tropical Gardens Club, they do breast cancer. And and their club on the BRAC then feeds off of us, and also they do, they partner with us because we go across and have events there as well. Because, they're a smaller club, so it's all about community enhancement and making sure that all of the Cayman Islands is touched and is informed. So this session this afternoon with you, I'm hoping to bring awareness, even though it's the last day. But for me, I guess most people may know because I publicly shared my journey. I am an 8-year breast cancer survivor, and I have spoken out, and I have did awareness for breast cancer. And any cancer is of interest to me, and I want to make sure that we spread the awareness, because early detection can save lives. And if people don't know or don't have readily or good information, how about to go about things or what to what to do, then it's having a cancer diagnosis is already a bothersome event in one's life, because you're all of a sudden you face, how am I going to deal with this? It's not only from a medical perspective, but also a financial perspective. 'Cause let me tell you, cancer treatment cost is astronomical. And some people, they say, some people don't die. Yes, cancer may be the underlying cause of death, but people don't die because the cancer killed them, yes, but the lack of treatment, the shock, and the stress. So stress will bring on other challenges like heart attack, high blood pressure, or whatever. Yeah. So, and lack of treatment, not being able to afford. We've had Lion colleagues who have died from other cancers because their insurance ran out and they weren't able to take treatment anymore. So they eventually succumbed to cancer. Yeah. But had they been in a position to get treatment, then they would probably still be alive today.
And I appreciate you sharing what you have. And for those who just joined us, as we call them, Miss Deborah Ebanks, Lions Club of Grand Cayman, and you're talking about childhood cancers. Two things are immediately striking. The last point you referenced in that the stress, the impact that the cancer has, but the fact that because of that, the individual may feel like you're going to become a burden to someone. You may understand the financial drain. They just in preparing for today's discussion, recognizing from people who've experienced it, but also from just case studies, you start to feel in a way where, what's the purpose, the point, and then that becomes overwhelming. But the second thing is that in a very positive way, you, and I can speak to Mr. Roy Borden with the PACE sort of being a spokesman for that, your willingness to share as you have publicly inspires us. But we've seen a very, very positive shift where in the past we would whisper the word cancer, if at all. Now we're having conversations about it very publicly. From the male perspective, Mr. Roy, he shared stuff that helps, not just the men or the younger men, but their spouses to understand sometimes the impact. I would imagine that, with the Lions Club in particular with their breast cancers, it had done likewise. So here we are now talking about childhood cancers. Maybe we can start to appreciate that there is an emotive aspect, but there's also, hopefully something that we can do and see how we can work. So thanks for that. I mean, it helps.
Yes. And, I think probably the last 7 and 8 years, we've seen some awareness through the Brave the Shave event. I don't think it happened this year. I'm not sure what happened but that is there's a partnership that they have that belongs to any funds raised go to St. Baldrick's, which is a research institution. And
Honest Heroes.
Right. And we do need research. Don't get me wrong. We do need research because we need to find out why this is happening or how we can, if there's any preventative things that we can do to eliminate the cause of cancer, and also the advancement in treatment. But we need to have patience too. So that's where we come in, because any funds that we raise will assist local families.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, childhood cancer cannot be treated on island because of the technological stuff. And
very specialized.
Very specialized. Yeah. So when you're dealing with children, so they have to go overseas for treatment. And what in today's society, most households are a two-income family. So then when a child is diagnosed with cancer, one parent has to go off with the child. So you then reduce to like a one income. And you're already stretched financially with two people, and then you're down to one. So that is. And yes, if you have good insurance, and I'm glad that I had good insurance, because it really, the cost was just really phenomenal. But there's things that insurance don't cover. they don't cover, at least for me, from my perspective, and then a lot of them don't. They don't cover airfares. They don't cover accommodation. You have to live while you're over there as well. So it's from that perspective that we want to raise funds to assist families. I personally know of 4 children that have been diagnosed, and some of them are doing well. They're thriving well, and they're in remission, or hopefully hopefully they're cured. But then with childhood cancer, there's also can also be some side effects that later on in life they will develop other issues. So according to the key facts and the statistics, it is estimated that each year there's at least 400,000 children and adolescents between the ages of 0 and 19 years that will develop cancer. That's a lot.
Repeat that number again. Between 0 and 19.
400,000.
Wow.
Yeah. And the most common type of cancer includes leukemia, brain cancers, lymphomas, and solid tumors. And I remember when I was going through, because I went to Miami to do my surgeries, and I met a young girl. She was only 15 years old. She was, I met her in December, and she was celebrating her 16th birthday on the 31st of December. And she had been in Miami since September, and she wasn't going to get home for her birthday. She had a little setback, so her treatment was then pushed forward then to the middle of January. But a couple of her school friends were coming up, which I felt really good. But here I was diagnosed at breast cancer at the age of 56, and pretty much I had lived my entire life. I had been halfway around the world twice, so I did pretty much everything I wanted to do. Yes, I've done a lot since then, but continue to do. But then I'm looking at 15, and just, your sweet 16. I remember my sweet 16th birthday party, and, I'm here saying, God, she's just starting out life. And, it puts things in perspective and makes you realize how blessed you are.
Yeah. And fellow caller early and asking how's it going, and for me it's always conscious, deliberate, to be positive, and I can be because I got many friends and family who are around who are like that. But you consciously, purposefully, prayerfully try to be positive. And the schedule being what it is today, the discussions being what they were, it's not easy. We have this discussion on childhood cancers, knowing that we know people very intimately. They're close to us. We know because of our service the people we interact with. I want to say to share that as people are listening, that we don't let it make us down and despondent, but it gives us hope instead of being a sense of despair. You have been a champion, and you shared 8 years, you diagnosed at 56. That gives us a chance. And do we have to take the break? I want to ask, as you share when we come back, if the appreciation for life these last 8 years, less, more, or as much as they were, the 5.5 decades prior. And there's a reason for that. But let's talk, and then you can tell us all the other stuff. To our listeners, stay tuned.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Freedom, Cayman Rock. Freedom, Little Cayman.
Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Annually, the Family Resource Center leads the anti-bullying campaign Stood Up throughout the month of October. This year, the campaign's theme is #CyberKindnessKY. Pause before you post, and is aimed at raising awareness of the harmful impact of cyberbullying behavior and educating children on responding safely and empowering parents with effective parenting strategies to intervene against cyberbullying and victimization. Teens ages 15 to 18 years old and parents are invited to the Teen and Parent Safety Training being held on October 12th from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Stay informed and keep young people safe. Registration is required. Email frc@gov.ky for more details on this and their other Stood Up campaign details.
The next voter registration deadline is approaching fast. October 1st is right around the corner. Are you registered to vote? Don't wait. Visit elections.ky today to download your registration form. It's quick and easy. Once you've filled it out, bring the form along with your original eligibility documents to the elections office, conveniently located on West Bay Road in Baytown Office Suites. Can't make it in person? No problem. Simply email your completed form and copies of your documents to office@elections.ky. For more information, visit elections.ky, call 949-8047, or email office@elections.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us from the Make Sure Go to Lions Club Grand Cayman.
Correct.
Miss Deborah, aye?
Yeah, that too.
One day she'll tell you why I said that. but it's that not only a sense of familiarity, but that respect and appreciation, recognition that in and through you we get a conversation about something that affects us in every which way, even if it's from watching the TV or seeing a newspaper ad of a young person. You give the example of a 15-year-old whose whole life is ahead of her. At 16, maybe she didn't get her quinceañera, as some cultures do. Her prom is coming up, her graduation, her, and yet,
milestones.
Yeah, that positiveness that needs to be there. So, childhood cancers, Ms. Debbie?
Yes. So, as I indicated earlier, our club is trying to raise some funds so that we can assist families that are dealing with childhood cancer, because some of the expenses are not covered, and it is already finding it challenging. Some families find it challenging already, and for childhood cancer treatment, families have to travel overseas and be there for months on end. Sometimes anywhere from 3 to 6 months or even longer. But before I touch on the fundraiser, there's one thing that I kind of want to promote, because for any decisions to be made, we need to have empirical data, statistical data, and we can't get that if people are not willing to share. Yes, I know not everybody is open-ended as some, or as like me, that I will share and do whatever I have to do. But we do have a cancer registry, which is already covered by law. So very little, the information that is given, that it can be shared. It is private. And then we passed the data protection law a couple of years ago as well. So we have that. So people shouldn't feel that I can't fill out a form or say what it is, because the part of the data that is shared is very generic. There's no names. While you may have to give your name, the information that is published. So I had reached out to the when I was given asked to chair this committee, the childhood committee, cancer committee, and I reached out to the cancer registry to get some statistics. And as of August 2024, only 11 children had chosen to register with parental consent. So we only have that there's 11 cases here in Cayman. And they also broke them down for me from ages 1 to 16. And it's 11 is almost half and half, male and female.
Mm-hmm.
And the majority of the cases are various types of blood cancers, and 64% of the reported childhood cancer falls into that category.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to put a plug in that if you know of anyone that is dealing or walking that cancer journey, to reach out, or whenever you next go to your doctors, because each of the doctors can assist you in filling out a form or getting the form to the cancer registry, because government, a lot of people look to government when disaster hits or something out of the normal hits. They look into government to assist you.
Mm-hmm.
But then if government can't assist you, if they don't have the data that they can forecast, so data helps us forecast that we can think. So if government knows that we got 50 children that is dealing with cancer, then they can budget it X amount and say, we'll budget this month. But if there's only 11 on the books.
Yeah, but it's also not just the financial
aspect.
Maybe there are resources within the community. But again, taking your point, the HSA, for instance, there might be a particular equipment, there might be a particular information session or physician or something.
Right.
If I may ask, since it's just the raw data, we're not talking about people. You reference 11 people as at August this year, right? So we're end of September now. Of that 11, does the data say, this was diagnosed, I guess is the word, last year before, 10 years?
I'm guessing that they may have that, because I think one of the areas, but that was not shared with me.
Right.
And I think as far as I can remember, when I filled the form out, it also asked for what area you're living, like if you're from West Bay or you're from East End or something, so they can have some demographics as to where these cases are occurring.
And for anyone who does sort of statistical analysis, understand that the more the data, we don't need to know about the individual other than what the metrics, for want of a better word, on that individual. So, and then I asked, like the diagnosis, we know with myopia, for instance, it's been reported by 2050, how many millions of children are going to be impacted by that. Knowing that, for instance, and asking, the diagnosis the last year, the last 2 years, the last 3 years, the last decade, can maybe inform of what is happening. Is it our diet or lifestyle? Is it the installation or something? Is it the withdrawal or something? Is it the addition? With that kind of data, we don't know. So I commend you, and I also join you in asking us, provide the data. If there are questions about its veracity, questions about its confidentiality, then how those are laid. But if you know this about that, then that can help you to make a decision.
Yeah. So getting back to
yes, Mom, I joined you in your segue, because we're going to end it shortly. I know.
Yes, we're fast approaching 2:30. So today, like I said, we did our initiative, our childhood cancer initiative, which is Be Bold, Go Gold for childhood cancer. is twofold with awareness. So I think we pretty much covered some of that. And although it's the end of September, I will be more than happy to come back because we do have another day coming up in February, which is International Childhood Cancer Day. It's the middle of February, so I'm planning something for that as well. So, but the fundraising aspect, we got some. We'll be out and about this afternoon from after 4 o'clock, from 4 till 9 at Foster's Airport and Foster's Camana Bay. We were, like I said, it was really a little bit delayed in getting our plans formulated, and so Foster's was able to assist us with having those 2 venues. So Lions will be there with pans, asking people for donations so that we can assist families that may have to travel overseas not me, that will travel overseas and cannot, they're already struggling financially. So that's where our funds will come in. And I know everybody, everybody's strapped, and, and people like to get things. So we have purchased some silicone bracelets that you were asking people to give a minimum of $5 donation, and you can get one while supply lasts. Of course, we're not an exhaustible supply, but we got various ones, and I think you're on YouTube, so they may be able to see a few. I have my own.
Yeah, I see that.
These are not the ones that we're giving out, but I had one from when I did a project back in 2017 when it says, "No one fights alone." And then because it's the colors were gold and yellow, I had purchased these. I recently visited the Muhammad Ali Center, and they had some silicone bracelets for sale, which portray what they're doing. And the yellow one speaks to confidence, and the gold one here is about dedication. But like some of these that we have today, it says, "Together we fight," and you got the childhood cancer ribbon. And then we also have, it says, "Fight for a cure," and then we have another one that says, "Never lose hope." So it's and they can wear these. You don't have to just wear them for the month of September. You can think like that. So we're going to be out, and we're going to be soliciting funds, and they will get a little something back, and we also have little stickers that people can wear. This is the Lions pin. This is the pin for childhood cancer. It has the childhood cancer ribbon, and it has a lion symbol in the middle. So I have on my Lions pin for the childhood cancer.
So you got Foster's
Camana Bay
and
Airport from 4 o'clock till 9 tonight. And so, and we'll have some information sheets as well. Lions International has produced some flyers, some information sheets. They talk about education and advocacy for parents and family support. So different aspects of childhood cancer awareness that we can. So we'll have those flyers available as well for anybody that wants to get a better idea. It gives you some statistics worldwide, what's happening, how many, heard me quoted that earlier there was 400,000 kids being diagnosed with cancer. So there's different pieces of information that people may want to know. And so whilst you may not be able to give $5, or you might even give more, every penny counts. My grandfather, I always remember my grandfather used to tell us that a penny saved is a penny earned. So if we can just put a couple of coins together, and you give 50 cents, I give 50 cents, and then next thing you know, we got $1. And a couple of people do that, next thing we got $10, got $100. And that can feed that family that is overseas for maybe 2 or 3 days. So it's from that aspect that we want to do that. So that's a fundraising part of our Be Bold, Go Gold for Childhood Cancer initiative.
Well, I appreciate you coming in, and as you know, we are always here, not just on Talk Today, but Radio Cayman in general, or whether it's the Lions Club of Grand Cayman, the PACE event, whether it's the Tropical Gardens Club, relative to any and all of the initiatives, but in particular the breast cancer awareness. We extend that to, all entities from the PTS to the other service clubs. 'Cause working in our communities together makes us, better.
Yeah, I've seen recently people on social media, because social media is now the way sort of goes. So I do post stuff on Facebook, because I did share my journey on Facebook. But people are talking about that we don't have a TV, a local TV, which was, I actually went on TV when I was going through treatment with the Tropical Gardens Club to promote breast cancer in 2016, and it's good. But we also have, and I thank you for, being able to accommodate us to come in here this afternoon for a few minutes, for half an hour, to share our ideas. And now you all have a YouTube aspect, so you do get to see people, so hopefully I'll look okay, So.
Not only your siblings and your parents, but everybody else, you always look good. It's not just what you dress, it's your deportment, decorum, but it's also your presentation. So we're honored to do this. The request is one that we're humbled to accommodate. And whether it's before February or thereafter, let us know. We're here for you.
Definitely, I will be in touch much earlier than I did this time, but
not a problem. Huh?
But I really, really appreciate it, and we are always grateful for the support that we get from Radio Cayman.
Well, you're most welcome, and since you put it on the table, I publicly acknowledge the other guests for allowing us to switch that around to accommodate you. That was done with the easiest and most accommodating gesture without any challenges, because we recognize the importance of this. So, many hands can make light work. Let's do it, Our tagline, we're with you before, during, and after the storm. Hey, Radio Cayman is not the number one for...
And I'm going to do one more plug for Lions, because we have a saying, where there's a need, there's a lion. But our motto is we serve, and that's what we want to do. We want to serve the community. We want to be a part of people's lives, not just be, collecting things or doing things, but really intimately involved with people so that they know that they have the support. Yeah.
Thank you, and to all like you who contribute. Many of us recognize and respect what it takes. Some of us are intimately familiar with it, not I say this consciously. I used to reference these endeavors as making a sacrifice. A friend recently said, no, let's call it an investment. Just like we take that money, put in the stock market or buying some asset, but it's a fixed deposit. It's an investment, right? We're not going to have the use of that money now, but we're hoping that we'll have it later on.
Correct.
Right? And so this is now our investment in our future. And I would like more of us to make similar investments, but also not just of our time and our talent and our treasure, but let's ensure that together we do this, because a lot is happening in this country that we don't see the growing division. We're focusing on the fact that we're different and it's dividing us, yet we're more alike than we are different. I reflect today. It's a hard day in many respects, but it has been better because each successive guest has reminded me of what it means to be positive and productive, pensive and purposeful, but above all, prayerful. So thank you, Ms. Debbie.
You're more than welcome, and thank you.
Well, to our listeners, thanks for the extra time. To Mr. Carl for saying, if you're not here, well, you're not here. Tomorrow's another day, and we want to be a part of it, so trust and pray that you'll make it meaningful. Until tomorrow, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.